without further ado, here will be the first media availability this season for the Rochester Knighthawks as we get ready to face off with San Diego on Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern time for that game. And we're going to start out with the reigning NLL MVP, Connor Fields. Fields, going into this, you have 2 bye weeks to come up to this week 3 first action for the Knighthawks. Just how excited are you now, a couple days removed from being able to get into some NLL action this season?
Yeah, I think I think us all were obviously really excited anytime you go into the season. And especially the way, you end the season before, obviously it was a tough loss. A lot of uncertainty this offseason and, just knowing that we, got a new great ownership and, just are going to be together again. And, I think there was a lot of excitement coming into camp. And then I think we had a really good camp, very competitive, very, fast paced. And I think, just when you do have these first 2 weeks off, you see other teams playing and it makes you, itch at it and want to play even more so. So, watching those games, these past couple weekends have been fun, but also tough because, you want to be out there too. So, I think we're really excited to come into this weekend.
Sorry about that. I know Connor's not able to put his camera on right now, so I guess I'll go to Jeremy. Jeremy, and sorry if I can't do this, but I was going to ask a question to Connor first, but just wanted to get this on for TV. Jeremy, when you join a franchise like this, what's your first reaction to joining this Rochester Knighthawks team?
It's incredible. Certainly, anytime you get the opportunity to play another game at any level, for me, it's special. And obviously coming to Rochester, having a new ownership along the way, and was something that just kind of aligned for me. And it's special all around. A wonderful group of guys, right down from the coaching staff to the team, and everyone welcomed me in to open arms, and it's been great so far.
And then when you get to play with a guy like Connor coming off his MVP, what does that say to you?
Connor's an incredible person, off the floor and it kind of just explains, his play on the field. I've known Connor for a long time, got to play with him in different leagues and whatnot, and obviously him playing with my brothers at Albany was makes it that much more special when he has family ties within the family, and yeah, overall for me it's just something that's special, and to see him play and grow along his career is something incredible to kind of watch and see.
Thanks, guys. Connor, this one's for you. We just got off the phone with Pat Merrill, and in terms of you and your kind of trajectory here in the NLL, being drafted by the Seals and then coming into this game, how have you seen yourself grow from where you started with them to now being league MVP?
I'm obviously very appreciative of, the Seals organization and Patrick Merrill in specific to, have that faith in me and draft me when they did. I think it was a tough time too because I was just coming off of a knee injury that it was a little uncertain how my career would kind of go, and they always instilled that confidence in me as a player since when I was there too. So just I knew they had that confidence in me and belief in me, and obviously I've been to a couple different teams, and I feel like I've gained a lot of insights because I've been lucky to play for such great coaches and with a bunch of great teammates as well. And then obviously coming here to Rochester with Haser and the rest of the staff, it's been, nothing but the best thing since the start, since I've been here. It's a first class organization that's, had a very high level of confidence in me that, I feel like when the coaches and the ownership and, management have that confidence in me, it allows me to play my best. So, yeah, just having that since I've gotten here, I felt like I've been able to kind of come into my own a little bit in this league and, gain a lot more confidence, just through experience playing in this league, but also, the confidence that I've gotten from, each of the teams that I've been at in the past.
And then in terms of this Rochester group, how would you kind of describe it, for this season and sort of the mentality of this bunch heading into the 25-26 year?
I think we're really a confident group. We in the past we've been young, and I think to a point we're still young. And I think I heard a stat of our offense, and I think I'm the second oldest on the team. I think the oldest is 30. So I think we're a really young group, especially up front. And I think we've had a couple of years now to get acclimated with each other and with the pace of and speed of the game in this league. And, I think it also gives us confidence to see how we've done in the past as a team. And, obviously we haven't gotten to our ultimate goal, which is obviously just like anyone to win a championship. But I feel like we've gained a lot of learning, a lot of steps in our process, through these past couple of years, making it to the playoffs, each year. And, obviously we came up short, but, you take a little bit away from every season. So I think coming into this year, we're a very confident group that, I think in past years we were scared to not scared, but we didn't want to, mention championship for some reason, whether it was to jinx it or whatnot. But this year, it's the word is out there, just like, every other team. That's what they're shooting for. So we know it's 1 week at a time, one game at a time, one play at a time. But that's our ultimate goal, and we think we have the group to get there.
Last one for me, for Connor specifically, and then anyone else can hop in here. But when you say you guys didn't talk about that, for lack of a better way of saying this, C word, if you will, going into this, heading into this season, what changed? Why is this year the year that you guys are actually talking about it?
I think we've always been pushing for it, and obviously it's something that you have in the back of your mind. So it's not to say we weren't pushing for it in past years.
Yeah.
Obviously each year you're playing for it, but I think this year we feel like we have the confidence this year. We have the experience. We've been in a lot of different situations in these past couple of years. Last year, we were a higher seed in the playoffs. We've been in situations where we just snuck in the playoffs in the last week of the regular season. So, we know the ebbs and flows of a season now and of a game in specific. So I guess for us this year, I would say confidence is the big word. I think we're a much more confident group this year. And, we kind of want to make it an expectation to get, to make a run at it and, hopefully be able to be holding that trophy up at the end of the year. So I think it's all to do with confidence.
I will start with a question for Mike Hasen. So obviously around this week, we had News 10 come in and talk about some things over the weekend that have now gone out around the Rochester area. But when you talk about that, it's time to kind of go for a championship because of the guys in the room and the way that they are together. Can you just talk a little bit about that one day at a time, but having the right group of guys to do it and push for something greater than just the next day?
Yeah, first and foremost, I will say again that it is one day at a time, and that is our focus. But walking into the camp, I think the first thing that we did say is basically it's time. We've been a group that has been building, for 6 years now. I guess this is our sixth season, and we've gotten better every single year. And it's now time that why not us? We've made the playoffs the last 3 years. We've had a core that have been together for the better part of the 6 year. Guys have come in and gone. You bring in guys like Jeremy Thompson and Zed Williams, their experience and their expertise and the way they play the game just adds to the core. And they're going to push us, and we're going to lean on them. They've had experience, and why not us?
It's funny. Zed said the same exact thing last week. Why not us? How is it that you get that kind of a message when you have one of the few new guys on a team full of returners? Just what does it say about your locker room that those new faces are already right into that mix of getting that same feeling?
Dan talks about that all the time. It's making sure the right people are coming into our locker room. Both Zed and Jeremy are the right people for this group and for our locker room and to wear the Knighthawks jersey. It's a testament to their character. And again, we're going to lean on them, as I said, and they're going to push us. And as a group, we're going to do our damnedest to get there in late May, wherever the season ends.
Haley, I'll turn it over to you for either Jeremy or Hazen question.
Yeah, I'll throw this one to Jeremy. Reading online, you're kind of coming back to Upper New York. Just what does it mean to join this team this season and be part of this group?
It's exciting. It's a thrill. I get to play the game of lacrosse anytime I get that opportunity. There's so many reasons for me culturally and just playing this modern game called the lacrosse game. And I have family. I have lots of rich history up in upstate New York. A lot of our our communities are right there. You have Oneida, Onondagas, the Cayugas, and Senecas all open all the way up to 90 up to Buffalo area. So for me, it's it's a dream come true, to play close to home. I've always wanted to play close to home, and coming into the league early, drafted by the Buffalo Bandits. It was obviously one dream that came, but fell short really quick. But yeah, I'm just excited to be a part of this group. It's an awesome group of guys, like everyone's mentioned here in the call today. I was welcome with open arms to guys just being open to helping me out. Coming to the system, right down from the coaching staff to the players just coming up to me and helping me and making everything easy.
There was a really great article that was on the Rochester website. Not going to have you go like too in depth into it, but just wanted to touch base, for possibly a story this weekend in terms of the animal stories within your culture and how you talk about how you channel a deer. Could you just elaborate a little bit on that and maybe how that plays into your game?
Yeah, I think that just kind of recently kind of came up. A lot of people have been kind of surfing through the internet and kind of
One of the
resent
nays of 40.
themselves after animals and stuff like that. But for me, obviously, it kind of stems from my culture and that story because that story, from my culture standpoint, was a huge inspiration for me. Not kind of, it helped me, got to me where I am now, as the highest level in the game of lacrosse, because that story helped inspired and helped shape my career. And we talked about it, as brothers, family growing up, what kind of animal best represents myself. And, I always kind of see myself as a deer because, deer is quick on his feet, can get up and down the floor. And the deer is also in our culture. It's the leader of the animals. So I always kind of see myself as a leader, no matter what I do. And yeah, it's a little bit of a background, kind of why I, chose that animal.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Haley. Cooper?
Yeah, so Jeremy, I want to dovetail off of Haley's question there for a moment and ask you about playing for one of the two now Indigenous owned organizations. I'm curious if you can put into words how special that is because you've been around the league. I think this is your fifth different franchise, but this would be the first time you've played for an Indigenous owned organization. And what about it is different, and to what about it perhaps feels like home? I'm just curious what that experience is. That it has to be a little bit different.
Yeah, I think certainly anytime you can kind of add our culture standpoint behind anything or put a stamp on it, put a footprint, put a hand, put a voice, put that energy on there, it's obviously it comes from, more of a home standpoint because it's our people. And our people as indigenous communities are starting to become more relevant in different spaces throughout our culture and stuff like that and outside of that, outside of our reservations. So for something like this to happen, is obviously something that's incredible. We all heard it this weekend at our team dinner. The ownership is like none other. They want to be involved as much as they can. They see us as one, as a family, and that's kind of our our culture concept when it comes to anything. We think of like the one dish, one spoon concept that we're all in it to kind of be able to dig into that bowl at any cost or any given time. You take what you need, put back in what you need, and it's just kind of a reciprocal concept when it comes to that mindset. And that's what they brought to the team dinner this weekend of how they want to be involved. And I've been a part of, like I said, a couple few organizations. And it's no better other feeling than having your ownership and knowing your ownership because a lot of ownerships you don't really see them from a player's perspective. So it just makes it that much more special that you know your ownership and you get to see them, and obviously it being native owned, it's makes it that much more warmer and culturally appropriate for myself.
Jeremy, thank you
Yeah.
for that thoughtful answer. I really appreciate that. Mike, for you, I'm curious what you're hoping to learn about your team going into week one. You obviously have had some time between training camp and now to kind of sit and watch around the league. And I'm wondering what it is that you're hoping to discover in this first game.
I'm not sure discovery is the word I'm looking for. I'm just more so our execution. Like I thought our camp was really good. It was really competitive each and every time we were on the floor. And the most I like out of, or one of the best things that I thought we brought out of the camp is that whenever we were doing the stuff, the hard stuff, our best players were our leaders. So I want to make sure that that translates against somebody else now. It's one thing to practice and push back with your own teammates, but now it's a different level against somebody else. And I'm really excited to see how we're going to perform in week one as a group.
Sling here. So with that ownership, of course, from a coaching standpoint for you now under this Knighthawks banner in Rochester, you've seen it all. Not looking for, exactly what you said kind of last weekend, but just what does it mean to have that ownership group that one of the things they said at the team dinner, right? They're there when you need them. They might yell at you because they care. Just what level of that involvement does it kind of give to you, whether it's confidence, a weight off your shoulders? Just what is that new ownership like for you?
Yeah, like I said, I've been very fortunate to be in Rochester a long time, and I think this is the fifth ownership group that has been part of the Nighthawks organization as well. And to have that weight off our shoulders and have the Seneca Nation come in and, as Jeremy said, care about us. Like we are part of their family, and it just makes as Jeremy also alluded to, like there's a lot of whys of why we play this game. Our family, our friends, the community, and one more added layer is the ownership group. I think we're just going to play so much better because we matter, and what we do on the floor matters to a lot of people, and we got to make sure what we're doing at home matches their expectations and the expectations of ourselves.
All right. Thank you to everyone for coming to our first media availability. Big thanks to Jeremy and Coach Hasen for being on with us. If you need a recorded copy of this, please just shoot me an email. I will get that link sent to you, and look forward to seeing the team in San Diego on Sunday. Thanks, everybody.